Hi, it's Jo from Minerva. Today I'm going to show you how to shorten a pair of jeans. That might be to shorten the hem or to take a pair of jeans to a pair of shorts. I'm going to show you two methods for shortening the hems on trousers. One is where you won't get that sort of nice wrinkled distressed textured look, and you can do that if you're turning trousers up to shorts. But if you want to keep this border, I can show you how to do a turn up that means that you keep that border and nobody would even know that you'd shorten your trousers. It's great for kids' clothes because you can put the seam in and then you can let it back out again. I'm going to put a jeans needle in my sewing machine. A jeans needle is normally got a number 90 to 100 on it, so it's for firmer fabric. And you can also get a twin jeans needle if your jeans feature a twin row of sewing on the hem and you want to replicate that. If you'd like to use top stitching thread, you can also try that. Some machines like it, some machines don't. These are top stitch needles. They're all size 90 and they've got a big eye for the thicker top stitching thread to go through. If you have one, you might also want to use a bulky seam aid, or some people call it a hump jumper, to get over those particularly thick parts of the hem where you've got lots of layers to squeeze together, and I'll show you how to use that too. The first thing I'm going to show you is how to turn up the hem on jeans, keeping the distressed hem edge. And if you can do that, you get a finish that doesn't even look like you've had your jeans turned up. You need to put your inseam and outseam seams together . So that when you're cutting, you're not getting a kink in the front or the back, because you don't want it to kick up at the front or kick up at the back. You need it to be perfectly straight. So match your seams. I would like to take an inch off these jeans, so I'm going to pinch out half an inch, and then I'll get half an inch on this side and half an inch on that side. So I'm going to pinch the fabric and measure it. I'm going to pin it so that the pins are on the hem side, because I'm going to be sewing here and I want to be able to see that side of the trouser. So I'm going to keep on hemming half an inch. You can tack that now if you want and get the person to try them on, so that you can double check that it's the right length. Okay, turn the trousers back out to the right side. Because you're now going to sew really close to the original hem and pinch out that amount of fabric. So you're aiming to get your stitch line right up close to the original hem. You need quite a small stitch length. Mine's on 2.5. I don't want a big long sort of baggy running stitch, because then it will peel open when I press it. I want it to be quite tight and really fuse together those two layers of denim. Okay, when we get to this thick lump, this is where it starts to get tricky, so slow down and use your hand wheel. Okay, if you go forwards and back at the ends, you can cut off your threads. And then when you pull the hem down, you will see that we've still got the lovely distressed hem, and inside there is that tuck that we made. So we've taken an inch length off the jeans. Inside, we've got this little flap. Now for kids, I would suggest you keep that on, because you can let them out then if you wanted to. You could just run the unpick around, but you can, if you want to, if you were making a bigger adjustment and you had a great big flap in there, you could trim that off and run the overlocker around on the spare. I'm not going to with just ½ an inch. That's not going to bother somebody's, it's not going to feel uncomfortable or bother somebody's ankle or get stuck in their boot or anything. That's just going to stay under there, and I'm going to press that hem. And that's the first way of turning up the hem on trousers, and you don't need a top stitching needle for this because you're using the original top stitching. But you do need a jeans needle, and if you're really struggling with these sides, I'll show you when I shorten the trousers how to use bulky seam-aid. Okay, I would like to now make these trousers into a pair of shorts. Normally I would try them on and I would pin where I wanted them to be and make a 3 centimetre hem, 1 centimetre to have turned up, and then another 1.5 centimetres, so I get a really nice thick hem. But the reason I'm turning these into a pair of shorts is because they've got a hole in, and the reason I'm taking the effort is because my daughter had embroidered all of this on her jeans. She's 15 and she's very cross that she's got a hole in the back of her shorts. So we're going to see if we can use this just above that line as the finished hem length. And then we're going to measure down and we're going to try and repair that a little bit, and that will be within the hem allowance. Do you know, sometimes you just have to go back to the dressmaking tool you know is the best. I was lazy getting the dressmaker's chalk, but the pen is much better. Okay, so I want my hem allowance to be 3 centimetres. Actually, I might make it a bit more for her just in case. So I'm going to go 4 centimetres. So this is my hem line, this is my cut line, and you mustn't get those mixed up or you'll end up cutting your shorts off too small. So think where your finished line is going to be, and then add on 3 or 4 centimetres depending on how deep a hem that you would like. I have 2 sets of Janome scissors. These ones have got a ribbon tied on them, and so I can use these for bulky fabrics, and I save my other ones for viscose, thin cotton, gauze, and I keep these ones for thicker fabrics, and that's why the ribbon's tied on the handle. And then we're going to do the same to the other leg. Okay, just to make sure that that doesn't pop out when I turn the hem, I'm going to tuck all that fuzzy bit to the back. She's got an L-shaped rip. And I've cut a piece of interfacing that I'm going to put on the back just to fuse all of that together and to stop it from fraying any further. I can also put some hand stitches over there to hold those fraying parts down, but I haven't sewn it together and nipped it. It's still covering the same surface area. Okay, so that's sewn down now, as good as it's going to be. And it doesn't matter if a little bit pokes at the bottom, because distressed jeans are sort of okay to wear at the moment. So what we're going to do is press along our finished edge line, and that will help to guide us when we're trying to turn this hem under. So first thing we're going to do is to press down on our finished hemline. Okay, so we can take the raw edge to the press line and we'll get a really nice deep hem. For a pair of fashion shorts like this, you could do it the other way. So you could have it so that this is on the outside. I'll show you that on the other leg. This is where you're going to get a lot of bulk, because you've got a flat fell seam here, and then so you've got one there, and one there. So that's the one where I'm going to show you how to use the bulky seam aid. You can also, if this is an upcycled pair of jeans, you can also sew all the way around and back to the flat felled seam, and then just forward and back each side, and that won't come down. So you don't necessarily have to go all the way through. It's in the crotch seam. You wouldn't see it there on a pair of shorts, and also you're not going to get lots of skip stitches that then make the rest of your hem slightly vulnerable. So that one's going to have its top stitch. If you want a different style, it's tricky for me because I'm patching at the same time, but I'm just going to show you. You can fold your hem from the right side. You can fold the raw edge up to the hem and then up, so you will get that edge as a sort of turn up around. So that works too. It's a bit more casual and youthful because you will have the seams on the outside, but it works just as well for a pair of casual shorts. I can't do that because if I do that, I will have my interfacing showing. So choose your style and either turn your hem with right side facing or turn your hem with wrong side facing. Right, I'm sewing around the hem and I've got to the thick seam, not the inseam, the out seam. So this is along the outside leg and it's still too thick. And you can see it's too thick because the back of the foot here is down and the front of the foot is high up in the air. So the further I go, the more pronounced that will be. So now the foot is at a very steep angle, and that means you haven't got any pressure between the foot and the feed dog squeezing the fabric. That fabric is now not have any tension on it. That fabric now has nothing holding it down really. So then you'll get skipped stitches because your machine won't be able to run through the motion of every time it goes over the feed dog I do a stitch. It just doesn't know what to do. So we're going to use the hump jumper or the bulky seam aid. It's got two thicknesses, a thick side and a thin side, and when you lift up the foot you put the bulky seam aid underneath and now put the foot down. And now what's happened is we've straightened up the foot, so we've got an even pressure now distributed throughout the whole of the foot. I can only do a few stitches at a time, before I need to lift the foot and put it back under again. But sometimes that's all it needs, it just needs a few stitches. And then we're going to put it under the front, because now what's going to happen is, I'll just show you, the front's going to tip down and the angle will be like that. So we want to keep that foot nice and parallel. And I'm going to have to keep doing that until the back of the foot has gone off that really bulky seam. There we go, we're back to being flat again now. So we've passed over that thick patch, we're back onto the flat. As I mentioned at the cutting table, this might be too big as well for your machine, so I'll show you the other method that I spoke about, which is to forwards and back either side of there and not involve that at all. Always hand stitch it down if we need to. So you can see on that very thick seam, that's the out seam, our stitches have remained the same length all the way along. None have skipped or jumped. And on the inside leg, I've stopped either side, and then I'm going to use these long tail threads just to hand sew along the end of here, just to give it the effect. I'm going to take my hand stitching right up to the edge of there, but that's not going to come undone. So I've got a little bit of back stitch on the back, and on the inside, and let's face it, nobody's going to be looking at the inside crotch of a tiny pair of shorts. And then I'm going to sew this end in the same, and I'm going to take that end to there. There we are, so that's the front. I've got some yellow stitching there, and on the back I've still got the embroidery. I'm just skimming off the repair that's on the inside hem, and it might fray a little bit, but I'll definitely get another summer. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that's helped you with repairs and alterations for your existing jeans. It's really good to give your clothes as much life as you can. Do pop over to the Minerva website and have a browse of other inspiration, sewing tutorials and products. See you again soon. Bye.